I can't marry any of you. Poor Nadia, popularly mocked as the trash girl, stood boldly in the middle of the city's most powerful and richest young billionaires, clutching her black trash bag tightly like a trophy. Her voice echoed as she screamed, "None of you deserve me. You don't even fit into my level." What? The billionaires were shocked. These were men everyone dreamed of marrying, yet Nadia rejected all of them to their faces. "Please, just choose one of us," they pleaded. But Nadia didn't even blink. She turned, ran toward the road, still holding her trash bag, with tears in her eyes and pride in her heart. Who is this so-called trash girl that now has billionaires begging for her love? Why would a rich man want a woman who picks up garbage door to door? Watch the full story now to get answers to all your questions. Click subscribe, hit the like, and stay tuned, bestie, because this story is about to blow your mind. Full story. Nadia struggled to drag the heavy black polythene bag filled with stinking trash along the smooth, neat road of the luxurious hilltop estate. The weight of the bag wasn't even the problem. It was the shame, the stares, the whispers, the quiet laughter from balconies. Just as she wiped the sweat off her forehead with the back of her hand, a sleek black car zoomed past her, then suddenly hit the brakes. Screech. The car reversed sharply, stopping right beside her. The tinted window rolled down slowly like a movie scene. Behind the glass was a young man, too handsome for his own good, with eyes that clearly judged before asking. His tone was as cold as the car's air conditioning. "Excuse me, what are you doing in this estate?" he asked, looking her up and down like she was something that dropped from a lorry. Before she could speak, he added, "Wait, who even opened the estate gate for you? Are you lost or just bold?" Nadia bowed slightly, her heart pounding. Not from fear of him, but from the fear of being recognized, from the fear of the truth slipping out too early. "I'm sorry, sir," she said softly, avoiding his eyes. "I don't like begging, and I must survive. That's why I came to work here. I collect trash from house to house. Sometimes they give me small change. I use it to feed myself." He leaned his elbow on the window and gave a sarcastic smile. "Wow, so you just wake up in the morning, dress up in your trash girl uniform, and stroll into a billionaire estate to hustle? Bold, very bold. You think this is one of those movies?" She smiled faintly but didn't answer. Her silence made him stare a little longer. Something about her didn't sit right. Her face, too clean. Her English, too polished. Her eyes, too proud for a girl dragging garbage. But he shrugged it off. "You know what? You've got guts," he said, almost amused. "But next time, try the market side. Or a normal neighborhood. These rich folks here," he gestured around with a fake grin, "they don't like their air polluted." Nadia gave a weak smile, still bowing. "Yes, sir. Thank you, sir." She turned away, dragging the bag again, but her hands were shaking slightly, not from fear, from anger, from humiliation, from biting her tongue so hard just to play her role. As she walked on, Hillary stared after her with narrowed eyes. "Something's off about that girl," he muttered. But he had no idea just how off it was. "And Nadia?" She whispered under her breath as she kept walking. "One day, you'll eat your words." Same day. The sun had already started to set when Hillary drove back into Hilltop Estate, his tie loosened and his face showing clear signs of a long, frustrating day at work. He was just a few minutes from home when he spotted a small kiosk by the roadside. He parked beside it to quickly buy a bottle of ground nuts and cucumber. Just then, something strange caught his eye through the rearview mirror. Someone was leaning on his car. He blinked, looked again, then squinted. Wait, what? In one swift movement, Hillary stormed toward the figure like a mad bull. Slap! The sound echoed across the quiet street like a gunshot. Nadia staggered from the force, her face turning red almost immediately. You again? Hillary roared, his chest heaving. What kind of disgusting pest are you, resting on my car like it's a street bench? You must be mad. He pointed at the car angrily. Do you even know how expensive this car is? Or do you think it's one of those garbage trucks you chase every morning? Nadia held her cheek, blinking back tears, but she bowed slightly again. Her voice was soft, her eyes downcast. I'm sorry, sir. I almost fell. I didn't want to hit the ground, so I leaned on it, just for a second. I wasn't trying to disrespect you or touch your car. Are you hearing yourself? Hillary barked, laughing bitterly. You almost fell. So you thought, oh wow, let me rest on a Mercedes-Benz? You people don't fear God again. He moved even closer to her, shaking his head in disbelief. You irritate me. You seriously do. Just looking at you brings stress to my blood. I should call security and have you banned from this estate forever. She bowed again, more out of survival than humility. She knew better than to talk back. Not yet. I'm sorry, sir. It won't happen again. Oh, it better not, he spat, stepping back into his car. Because the next time you come near my car, I won't just slap you. I'll arrest you for breathing near it. He slammed the door shut and drove off with tires screeching. Nadia stood by the roadside, frozen, her hand still on her cheek. A tear rolled down, but not just from pain. It was from anger, from insult, from fire burning inside her chest. But she wiped it away quickly. The next morning, before the first cock crowed, Nadia was already awake. She tied her scarf tightly, wore the same faded clothes, and grabbed her trash bag. Her eyes were tired, but her steps were steady. She had a mission, and she wasn't going to break character, not yet. By the time the sun began to yawn from the clouds, Nadia had already reached the first house in the estate. Knock, knock, knock. The gate opened halfway, and a grumpy gateman peeked out with sleep still hanging in his eyes. Who's there, and this early morning? What is it? Nadia bowed slightly, wearing the same humble smile. Good morning, sir. I'm here for the trash. The gateman hissed but handed over the bag anyway. If not that it's me they'll shout at, I for just tell you to come back later, he mumbled, rolling his eyes. Nadia still smiled and stretched her hand. He sighed and dropped a crumpled note into her palm. Don't come knocking like that again, I beg. Thank you, sir, she whispered, pocketing the money. And off she went, to the next house and the next. House after house, some gave her trash. Some gave her coins. Some gave her insults instead. As she approached the fifth mansion on the lane, laughter rang from the balcony. 3 young ladies, dressed like they had just stepped out of a fashion magazine, were sipping juice and watching her like she was a walking zoo exhibit. Ew! Look at her, one of them whispered loudly, knowing Nadia could hear. Does she even know she stinks? She chose this job? Another one smirked. Out of all the hustles in the world, she said, yes, I want to carry people's trash for a living. She's new in this estate, right? The third one scoffed, flipping her hair. I think I'll talk to Daddy today. That thing is polluting the estate. Imagine a garbage girl walking past our gate every morning. Like, do we look like slum people? The girls burst into more giggles, mocking her scarf, her slippers, her everything. Nadia didn't say a word. She just bent, picked up the trash, and bowed again. The next day, Hillary was walking down the road with 2 of his close friends, both as proud and flashy as him. They laughed loudly, talking about cars, women, and poor people who smell like problems. Hillary wore a designer outfit and dark sunglasses like he was on a runway instead of a residential street. Bro, that girl you saw at the club, wahala, one friend said. Which one? Hillary asked, laughing. But as he turned to reply, his foot hit the edge of a stone near the roadside. Yah! He stumbled forward, waving his arms in the air like a confused bird. He didn't fall completely, but his precious phone flew from his hand and hit the ground with a loud crack. My phone, he shouted, eyes wide. Right beside the gutter, just a few steps away, was Nadia, quietly picking up empty plastic bottles from the ground. She had been there since dawn, filling her sack with used bottles for recycling. When she saw Hillary lose balance, she didn't think twice. She dropped her sack, ran toward him quickly, picked up the phone with both hands, and wiped the dust gently. "Sir, your phone," she said softly, stretching it toward him with both hands like it was made of gold. But instead of gratitude, "Are you mad?" Hillary yelled, snatching the phone from her hand. His friends paused, staring. "How dare you touch my phone? Do you think this is one of the trash you carry around like it's treasure, huh? What gave you the guts?" Nadia bowed again, as always. Her voice was calm, shaking a little. "Please, sir, I'm sorry. I only wanted to help. I didn't mean to offend you." Hillary hissed loudly, dusting the phone with his sleeve like her fingers carried disease. "You people don't fear anything again. Next time, don't touch what doesn't belong to you. Poor and stubborn, what a terrible combo." One of his friends chuckled awkwardly, nudging him. "Bro, relax. She was just trying to help." But Hillary ignored him, glaring at Nadia like she had committed a crime. "Just disappear before I lose my temper," he snapped. Nadia bowed one last time, picked up her sack of bottles and walked away slowly. But as she turned the corner, she let out a deep breath. It hurt. Yes, but it was also funny. That night, Hillary sat on his leather couch in his well-decorated living room. The AC was on full blast, his dinner untouched on the glass table, and a movie was playing, but he wasn't watching. His eyes were fixed on nothing. His mind? Busy, restless, irritated. And for what? A trash girl. "Who the hell is she?" he muttered, scratching his head in frustration. He threw his car key on the table and stood up, pacing like someone being haunted. "I saw her yesterday, dragging trash. I slapped her then." He paused. "Today again, she appeared out of nowhere, picking bottles like it's a career. Then she ran to me like she was born for it, like I'm her mission." He scoffed bitterly. "Maybe she's targeting me. Maybe she thinks if she keeps appearing around me, I'll suddenly say, 'Oh, wow, what a hardworking garbage girl. Let me make her my housemaid.'" He laughed dryly to himself. "Never." He flopped back on the couch, rubbing his forehead. "She's filthy. She stinks. Even her sorry voice annoys me, always bowing like she's in some old movie. She doesn't belong here, and her presence just ruins the view." He stood up again, now clearly restless. "You know what? If I see her one more time, just once more, I swear I'll call the estate manager. I'll have her banned, thrown out, dragged like trash." He looked at his reflection in the glass window, but instead of feeling victorious, he looked disturbed, because no matter how much he hated to admit it, he remembered her eyes, not the dirt, not the scarf. Her eyes, calm, strong, sad, too deep for a mere trash girl. He shook the thought off. No, 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 stop this nonsense, Hillary. Focus." He grabbed the remote and increased the TV volume, but not even the loud explosions on screen could silence the storm in his head. The next day, the morning sun was just rising over Hilltop Estate, casting gold across the gates of the mansion where Hillary lived. Dressed in a crisp designer suit, Hillary stepped out of his house. His car was already waiting, engine humming. But just as he was about to enter, he froze. Right there, again, standing quietly at the side of his gate. Nadia, wearing that same oversized faded shirt, holding something in her hand. Hillary's mouth twitched with rage. "Oh God, not again," he muttered. He turned sharply toward her. "You again? Trash girl. What do you want from me, huh? Are you obsessed with me or what?" Nadia bowed slightly, her voice calm and gentle. "I'm sorry to disturb you, sir. I was picking bottles near the spot where your phone fell yesterday, and I found this key. I thought it might be yours." She stretched out the small silver key with both hands. Hillary snatched it with disgust, staring at it. His eyes widened slightly. It was the key to his private safe, the one he didn't even realize was missing. He paused. But pride wouldn't let him say thank you. Instead, he scoffed. "So what? You want me to give you a medal?" He stepped back and waved his hand in front of his nose dramatically. "Don't you know you stink? Like you bathe once a week in dirty water." Nadia swallowed hard, still kneeling. I'm sorry. No, save it, he cut her off. I always go by my word, Despico, and I said the next time I see you near my house, you're finished. So guess what? He turned sharply toward his gate. Adamu, he barked. The old gateman peeked out from the corner. Yes, sir! Drag this smelling thing to the estate gate. She's leaving. Now! Adamu hesitated. Sir, but now! Nadia quickly knelt on the floor, panic filling her eyes. Please, sir, I meant no harm. Just let me keep working. Just a few more days. But Hillary's hands were already in his pocket, looking for his phone, until a black Bentley pulled up quietly and stopped. The engine purred. A young man stepped out, tall and handsome, wearing a simple but expensive shirt, clean sneakers, and a wristwatch that could buy a house. His name? Nathaniel King. Another billionaire in the estate. Quiet, powerful, feared in the business world, known for his brains and his kindness. Hey! Nathaniel's voice was calm but sharp. What's going on here? Hillary stiffened and turned, trying to sound confident. Oh, it's nothing. Just cleaning up the environment. This girl keeps hanging around. I've warned her. She irritates me. She's not supposed to be here. Nathaniel looked at Nadia, still on her knees, holding nothing but dignity. His eyes softened. She found your key yesterday, didn't she? Hillary hesitated. Well, yes, but that's not the point. It is the point, Nathaniel said, walking closer. You lost something important. She returned it, and this is how you say thank you. He glanced at Adamu, who looked confused and awkward. Then he turned back to Hillary. Let her be. In fact, he turned fully to Nadia. What's your name? Nadia stood slowly. Nadia, sir. Nathaniel smiled slightly. You speak good English. You're respectful. You've got more manners than some rich people I know. Hillary's jaw clenched. Nathaniel continued. From today, you work for me. I'll give you a job. Something cleaner, more stable. You deserve better. Nadia gasped. Thank you, sir. I don't even know what to say. Just say yes. She nodded quickly, still in disbelief. Nathaniel looked back at Hillary and smirked. You were about to throw away someone with value. Be careful, bro. Not all that looks dirty is useless. Then he turned, walked back into his car, and drove off. Hillary stood frozen, humiliated, furious, and strangely unsettled. The next morning, Nadia stood outside a tall, glass building with wide eyes. The name King Tech Group was boldly written on the front. The company looked like something she only saw in magazines. Polished floors, neat uniforms, everyone smiling and walking with confidence. She swallowed hard, clutching her small handbag. She had been invited by the boss himself. As she entered the building, the receptionist smiled at her. You must be Miss Nadia. Sir Nathaniel said we should take good care of you. Nadia was shocked. He did? Yes, ma'am. Please come in. He's expecting you. Inside Nathaniel's office. The door opened slowly. Nathaniel was sitting behind a simple, clean desk. Not too flashy, not too stiff. Just comfortable. He stood up the moment he saw her. Nadia, you came. Please sit. Nadia walked in gently and sat on the visitor's chair. Nathaniel poured her a glass of juice himself. No pride, no show-off. You don't need to be scared, he said with a smile. I invited you because I saw something rare in you. Nadia looked down shyly. I've never worked in a place like this before, sir. Well, he leaned forward, this will be your first, and I promise it won't be your last. You'll be fine here. She smiled faintly. Thank you for giving me a chance. Nathaniel shrugged. Everyone deserves a chance. Some of us just need one person to believe in us. He then added with a playful smile. Besides, you returned a key most people would have kept. That already says a lot. They both laughed softly. It was the first time Nadia had laughed in days. Later that day, Nathaniel personally introduced her to the HR lady and even walked her to the small but neat office she would use for training. She was going to start as an office assistant, easy work, no trash bags, no insults. As she settled in, she noticed something else. The staff were different. Kind, professional, respectful, and they all adored Nathaniel. I've worked for him for 6 years, said a smiling lady in HR, and I've never seen him raise his voice. He remembers everyone's name, said the cleaner. Even mine. He treats the janitor and the manager the same way, added another. That evening, when Nadia was about to leave, she was shocked to see Nathaniel at the reception. Did your first day go well? He asked with a calm smile. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, she said, her voice trembling with emotion. He nodded. Good. You're stronger than you think, Nadia. Keep showing up. You'll shine. Then he left. Just like that. No noise, no driver, no show. A billionaire with the heart of a friend, Nadia muttered to herself as she watched him leave. Meanwhile, at Hillary's house, clean that corner again, Hillary barked. He pointed at the already sparkling center table. You there, yes, you. Polish that again. I want to see my future in the reflection. His house staff were sweating like they were in a marathon. Even the air freshener in the room was trembling. Remove those curtains. They look too local. Do I look like a cheap man to you people? He snapped. He adjusted his shirt in front of the mirror and smiled at himself. My fiancée is returning tomorrow. Chief Thompson's daughter, he announced with pride. Then he whispered to himself, that girl is money, and I won't let her look down on me. Not even for a second. I must look like gold, even if I'm coughing dust. Just then, his phone vibrated. It was his dad. Hello, son, the old man's voice boomed. Get ready. Chief Thompson's only daughter lands tomorrow morning. Hillary grinned. Yes, Dad, I've been cleaning since 5 a.m., his dad continued. Other rich boys are preparing too, but I've spoken directly to her father. We must win this girl at all cost. Hillary's eyes widened with excitement. Dad, you're the real MVP. That girl is our jackpot. Please, secure the space for me by fire, by force. His father chuckled. Don't worry. Just make sure your house doesn't smell like disappointment. I already sprayed imported air freshener 3 times, Hillary said proudly. Good. This is not just love, my boy. This is business. Merry sense, not nonsense. Yes, sir. I'm already feeling like a husband. They both laughed, like 2 hunters ready to trap a golden bird. The next day, at Nathaniel's office, Nadia knocked lightly before entering. Sir, good evening, she said softly, standing respectfully by the door. Nathaniel looked up from his files and smiled. Nadia, closing already? Yes, sir, she said, walking closer. I came to inform you. I want to travel for 2 days. I won't be available on Friday and Saturday. Nathaniel raised a brow. Travel? Where to? My parents, sir, Nadia replied. They live in the village. They asked to see me. They're quite aged. Nathaniel's expression softened immediately. Village? He sounded surprised. Nadia nodded with a small smile. Yes, sir. I don't really talk about them, but they raised me with love, even with the little they had. There was a pause. Nathaniel blinked and leaned back in his chair, his heart warmed by her sincerity. Then he opened a drawer and pulled out some crisp notes. Take this, he said. Buy something nice for them. Food stuff, medicine, whatever they need. They deserve to smile. Nadia's eyes widened slightly. Sir, that's too much. No, please, he interrupted. It's not too much for people who raise someone like you. She bowed slightly. Thank you, sir. God bless you. Nathaniel nodded, then looked at his calendar. Ah, funny enough, I also have something important on Saturday. Oh? Nadia asked. Yes, Chief Thompson's daughter is holding a formal event. She wants to meet all her father's clients. The girl is taking over as CEO soon. He sighed dramatically. Everyone is going to be there like ants chasing sugar. Her father's company controls 90% of the city's major contracts. If I want to keep my firm alive, I must be there. Must impress her. Nadia nodded politely. I understand, sir. I wish you success. Thanks, Nathaniel said, rubbing his neck. Though I heard the girl is very private and strict, I don't know how it'll go. Nadia chuckled lightly but said nothing. Nathaniel smiled at her again. All right then. Safe journey, Nadia. See you Monday. Yes, sir, she said with a bow, turning to leave. As Nadia stepped out of the building, the sun was just beginning to sink. She held her handbag neatly and adjusted her simple gown. Down the driveway, two sleek cars were parked beside each other, engines humming softly. Hillary was seated in one, chatting with another flashy young man who looked just as proud. Their windows were down, and their voices rolled out clearly. "Saturday is set, bro," Hillary said with a smirk, tapping his steering wheel. "My dad already called Chief Thompson. It's official. He's giving me his daughter." His friend whistled. "Serious? That girl's worth gold. You're lucky, man." Hillary grinned proudly. "I don't chase women. Women chase me. But this is a jackpot. I'll make sure she falls for me completely." Just then, Nadia walked by, her steps calm and graceful. She paused, seeing Hillary, and as always, she gave a small, polite bow. Her hand gently touched the side of his car as she greeted him softly. "Good afternoon, sir." Hillary turned slowly, and the moment he saw her hand on his car, his smile vanished. "You again?" he barked. His friend raised his brows in surprise, watching the sudden change in Hillary's tone. "Oh, so because you now wear office clothes, you think you're cleaner than you were when you stank like trash?" Nadia quickly removed her hand, bowing again. "I'm sorry, sir. I only wanted to greet you." "Greet who?" Hillary snapped. "You still stink. The trash is inside your skin. Don't you ever touch my car again. In fact," he leaned out of the window, pointing sharply, "don't greet me. Don't talk to me. Don't even breathe in my direction, you stinky girl." Nadia lowered her eyes and said nothing more. She bowed gently again, then turned and walked away quietly, with her shoulders straight and her head held high. But Hillary? He laughed mockingly with his friend. Saturday morning, Chief Thompson's mansion. The mansion was a palace. Glass walls, gold chandeliers, marble floors, and the air smelling like new money. Inside the grand living room, the who's who of the city's young billionaires were seated. Stylish suits, polished shoes, fake laughter, everyone pretending to be cool but clearly nervous. Wines poured. Waiters moved like ghosts. At the center, Chief Thompson sat like a king in his golden chair, his large belly bouncing as he cracked jokes. "Boys, if my daughter picks any of you today, just make sure you don't go broke next month," he laughed, raising a glass. The boys laughed along, though some were sweating silently. Hillary, sitting at the front, leaned over to the guy next to him. "She'll pick me," he whispered with pride. "She just doesn't know it yet." Just then, a butler walked in and announced, "Ladies and gentlemen, before the lady of the day steps in, please enjoy a brief video presentation from her." Suddenly, every screen in the living room lit up. The laughter stopped. Glasses paused midair. The room fell completely silent. On all the giant screens, a young woman dragging a black trash bag appeared. A man with a camera standing afar off captured her as she knocked on doors, their doors, one by one, smiling, collecting waste, receiving coins. Gasps echoed around the room. "Wait, oh my God, that's the trash girl! She came to my house too." Some of them slouched in shame. Others hid their faces. Hillary's heart stopped. There she was on screen, bowing, apologizing, smiling humbly while being insulted, slapped, chased away. All of them recognized her. 99% of the young billionaires in that room had once given her trash or insulted her for stinking. The clip ended with a soft voice speaking. "In a world where money defines respect, sometimes the purest hearts wear the dirtiest clothes." And the lights went dim again. Suddenly, a beautiful figure walked in, dressed in a royal beige gown that flowed like a river. Makeup soft, her presence powerful. Guards opened the glass door as she entered with quiet dignity. Everyone turned. It was Nadia. Hillary's jaw dropped. The same girl he called stinky. The same girl he almost dragged out of the estate. The same girl who bowed and apologized for touching his car. Now, she walked like a queen. Chief Thompson stood proudly and announced, "Gentlemen, meet my only daughter and the new CEO of Thompson Global, Miss Aubrey Nadia Thompson." The silence in the room was heavy. Hillary's cup slipped from his hand. Game over. At Hillary's living room, 2 days after the party. The room was dim, curtains drawn, bottles scattered on the floor. The air reeked of alcohol, sweat, and broken pride. Hillary sat on the floor under the AC, shirt halfway open, a drink in his hand, eyes red and tired. His phone had been ringing for 2 days endlessly. His father, his friends, even his driver. But he didn't care. He took another big gulp and hissed loudly. Trash girl turned my destiny around, he muttered to himself. I slapped my own jackpot with my full chest. Suddenly, the front door flew open. His father stepped in, boiling with anger and heartbreak. Hillary! Hillary blinked twice. He hadn't heard his father's voice sound this broken in years. For 2 days, I've called you nonstop, his father barked. And this is where you've been? Drinking like a fool under your AC? Hiding like a coward? Hillary didn't answer. He just sipped again and turned his face away. His father took a deep breath and continued. I'm ashamed of you, Hillary. Deeply ashamed. I thought I raised a man, a respectful one, a kind one, a man who knows how to treat women with honor and dignity. But what did you do? You insulted her, slapped her, dragged her out like trash over and over again. And who was she? Chief Thompson's daughter, the same girl who came down in disguise to know the real you. Hillary's hand shook. The glass nearly fell. His father pointed a finger at him, voice trembling. That girl was ready to give you everything. She came to see your heart, not your wallet. But all she saw was pride and filth in a designer shirt. Now look, you've thrown it all away. That multi-billion-dollar opportunity handed to your neighbor, Nathaniel. A man who treated her like a human being. He shook his head slowly. Do you know how many strings I pulled? How many rich fools were after that girl? I fought all of them. I made sure you had the front seat. And you spat on it and poured alcohol on it. There was silence. Hillary slowly looked up, eyes filled with tears he refused to let fall. Dad, he whispered, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. His father cut him off. Exactly. Because you don't listen. You don't observe. You don't think before you act. That's why you've lost something men would kill to have. He walked to the door and turned around one last time. You broke my heart, Hillary. You really did. From now on, fix yourself. Because next time, I won't be there to save your face. The door slammed shut behind him. And for the first time in years, Hillary dropped the bottle, buried his face in his hands, and wept. A few weeks later, Nadia and Nathaniel sat side by side on a wooden swing beneath a tall tree, swaying gently as the breeze passed. Nathaniel looked at her, smiling softly. She dressed simple in a dress, her laughter light and free. Do you know, he began, his voice calm and thoughtful, the very first day I saw you, I knew there was something rare about you. Nadia turned to him, eyes twinkling. Me? She chuckled. The trash girl? Nathaniel shook his head with a smile. No, the treasure. But I kept quiet because I didn't want you to think I was trying to take advantage of your situation. I wanted to know your heart, not just your face. Nadia looked down, suddenly emotional. And you did. Even when I had nothing, you saw everything in me. He got up from the swing, slowly went down on one knee, and brought out a tiny velvet box from his pocket. Inside sparkled a ring as simple as it was elegant. Nadia, he said, looking straight into her eyes. You turned my ordinary life into something extraordinary. Will you marry me, not as a boss or a billionaire, but as your partner, your peace, your friend? Tears filled Nadia's eyes. She laughed through them and nodded. Yes, Nathaniel, 1,000 times, yes. He slid the ring onto her finger, and they hugged tightly, the swing gently swaying beside them as the sun set behind them. 2 months later, it was a grand wedding, classy, yet touched with deep warmth and sincerity. The venue was lined with glowing chandeliers, white roses, and a waterfall backdrop. Every detail was breathtaking. The guest list was full of the city's biggest names. But today, all attention was on Nadia, who walked down the aisle in a stunning gown that left everyone speechless. Her beauty was timeless. But what surprised everyone was the groomsmen. All the young billionaires, in black suits and classy bow ties, served respectfully as ushers and supervisors of the event. They weren't just there to attend, they were there to honor the woman they once looked down on. And beside Nathaniel stood Hillary as the best man. He held the ring box with a calm face, humbled beyond words. His eyes met Nadia's briefly, and he nodded slowly, a silent apology and silent respect. As Nathaniel and Nadia exchanged vows, not a single eye remained dry in the hall. Wedding reception. The hall roared with laughter and clinking glasses. Nadia stood holding Nathaniel's hand. He looked at her and whispered, "You're no longer the girl who knocked on doors for trash. You're the queen of my world now." Nadia smiled. "And you were the one who picked me up, not from the ground, but from silence." The camera zoomed out, capturing the full room, a sea of powerful men in suits, standing in honor of a girl who was once rejected. Now married to the man who saw her first, loved her pure, and lifted her into destiny. Hello, besties. And that's how Nadia went from being the trash girl to becoming the queen of hearts, loved, honored, and respected by the very people who once mocked her. Moral lessons. Number 1, never look down on anyone because of their condition. Today's nobody might be tomorrow's somebody. Number 2, character will always shine brighter than clothes or cars. What makes a person valuable is their heart, not their appearance. Number 3, humility, respect, and kindness can open doors that money cannot. Number 4, and lastly, true love sees beyond dirt and brokenness. It sees potential. Your condition does not define your conclusion. So besties, tell me in the comments, what part of this story touched your heart the most? Did Nadia inspire you? What would you have done if you were her? Don't forget to like, comment, share, and of course, subscribe for more amazing emotional stories that hit deep and teach real-life lessons. Until next time, I love you. And remember, no matter how life treats you, never stop believing in your worth. See you in the next story, bestie.